Hey there, Cornell Jermaine here. Listen, thank you for joining me again on the YouTube channel. Listen, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video after you watch it, please like it, share it with a friend. Listen, today I want to talk about something that I don't often cover here on the channel, but I think I want to do more of it only because it's something I believe that is necessary for our generation to learn, and that is leadership. I want to talk more about leadership. I've been in a leadership role of some sort since my teenage years. I think I was right around 15 years old when I got my first leadership position. It wasn't until I got into that position that I realized, one, the skills that I had as a leader. It wasn't something I thought about and I worked to do. It just came to me, and it grew me very fast as a leader. Went on from there to do my own little business and did that up until now, today. Went on from there to manage businesses for other people, and I did that for about 8 years. Then I started focusing on my own brand, and now I run a team of about 4 people for my own personal brand and hair care brand. And then I'm also a partner with one of the leading global media and advertising, and that is Rage Media. I'm a partner with that corporation. But I say all that to say is that I have some experience when it comes to leadership. And I think that it's necessary that we, our young people today, learn a little bit more about leadership. Now, I'm speaking today from leadership from a standpoint of maybe business or an organization or a nonprofit, where you're responsible for leading a group in a task or a vision at hand. That's what I'm speaking to. But these qualities are necessary also within your home, leading as a domestic leader in your home, your community, your school, whatever place you find yourself in an official leadership. So I want to discuss the 5 qualities of a good leader, the 5 qualities of a good leader. And some of these are things that I had to learn the hard way, and some of them are things that just came natural for me, and I just found that they work. But here they are. First, you have to have a clear vision. And this is for someone who maybe is starting their own business, someone who may be launching a product or some type of service, someone that may be just moving in the space where you now have to write out what you want to do and give this task to another person, delegate to them in order to get it done. You must be clear about your vision and clear about what you want. Sometimes I used to be embarrassed about it because when I started my own brand and business, I would hire all kind of contractors and people to do things for me, and I was very specific about what I wanted. And I think I was that way only because I knew what I wanted, you know what I mean? And I thought at first, like, well, maybe I should just let them, do their creative thing and, see what they come back with. And then later I found out, no, that's not how this is going to efficiently run. You know what I mean? If I waste time and let them just be creative and just create something that I don't like, then I wasted their time and energy, and I wasted my own. The old adage says time is money. That's a whole nother conversation. But I found that if I'm clear about what I want, then it helps everybody do their job more effectively. And I later found out that that was a skill or a quality that people liked. I remember I did my first music project, and I hired a videographer and his entire team to come and film the concert. And by this time he had worked with me on a couple of small projects, but this was like the biggest project that I had hired him for. And I remember after we did that project, he and I were sitting at his desk, and he was just telling, we were going over all the details of the footage and all the things that, he thought would be good for us to, do with the footage. And he said, I don't get people often that know what they want. I respect that about you because it helps make my job easier. That means I don't have to waste my time creating something that you don't like. I can ensure that I give you a product that you are pleased with, and you'll be more apt to come back to me, for services. Man, that's a good quality. He said, I like that about you. He said, keep that up. And I thought about that, and I was like, I think that is. And I thought about just myself, like when I was just servicing clients, if they know what they want, come tell me what you want. Then I know I can tell you if I can produce it or whether or not I got you or I can't do it. You know what I mean? I got you, no problem. Or man, I think this is out of my wheelhouse. I think maybe you can go to someone probably better suited for what you need. So having a clear vision as a leader is so important, and making sure that vision is cast properly is so important. So don't be ashamed to be specific about what you want and what you need, whether it be in your business, your organization, your family, your relationships. Don't be ashamed about that. Anybody that is not open and accepting to that is probably somebody that just shouldn't be on your team anyway. So having a clear vision is the first quality of a good leader. The second quality of a good leader is be open to the thoughts and criticisms of others. And I think this is so important. And sometimes you find that in certain leadership, they're not as open, because they feel like, this is my vision, this is my thing, and you're not gonna come in here, but being open to the thoughts and criticisms of other helps you to improve. And in any instance, in any space that you occupy, I think everybody wants to improve. Nobody wants to stay the same, do you? You know what I mean? And if you do, then you probably don't want to be in business because you're going to have to always evolve. But I think everybody's goal should be to improve, whether it be personally, whether it be financially, whether it be professionally. Improvement is good. And many times we improve by taking the feedback that comes from other people. Now, sometimes feedback and criticism can come from a malicious place, but if you look at it with the right eye, it could be useful even then. You know what I mean? Some people just want to give their feedback just to tear it down and hopefully to destroy your dreams and hopes. But sometimes even then, you know what I mean, you can learn and improve in that way. So be open to the thoughts and the criticisms of others. So number 3 is delegate and trust those you've put in place and their style of managing or overseeing whatever it is. Hashtag don't micromanage. And this is so important to me because I've been micromanaged before. And it's a stifling place to be as a leader because most times, let me help you understand something. When you're in a position where you're leading a group of people, many times you'll have other leaders up under your leadership. So it's not that these people are peasants and don't know how to navigate life and can't do things on their own. It's just that they believe in the vision that you have and what you're doing, and they want to serve that vision to the fullest. So if you're a leader with other leaders under you, what that means is that those leaders have their own ways, their own styles of producing and doing what it is that you've assigned or delegated to them. If you then begin to micromanage them and try to control how they do what it is that you've delegated to them to do, now you're stifling that leader. And guess what? That leader or that individual that's on your team won't be with you long. It's so important that you know this. You can't show up as a leader in an insecure disposition. Because if you're insecure, then you'll be looking at these people on your team and constantly critiquing how they're doing things. And sometimes they may do them better than you. Let's keep that in mind. They may do what you've delegated to them better than you can do it. But guess what? That's what you want. You want people on your team. You want to delegate people that can do it better than you. Let that sink in. If they're doing it at a lesser skill set, and you can do it better, then they're probably not fit for the job. Because you want people that will do it better than you. That way they can make the overall team more effective. You understand that? So in that, if you come and show up trying to micromanage and say, don't do this, what you doing, where you been, now they're gonna be looking at you like, listen, sir, let me do my job. I got this. If they're not producing effectively, that's another thing. Then you call them on the carpet, you let them know what it is that they're doing and how they need to improve so they can be more effective. But if they're producing and giving you what you need, taking the correction and the bullet points or the notes that you give them, let them do what they do. I was micromanaged. It was a little bit of micromanaging because I was in a position of leadership at someone else's business. They hired me to be the operational manager for the team. And it was about a team of, oh my gosh, might have been about 15 of us. And I had my own way of dealing with my team, these people that were under my leadership. So I met with the CEOs and the founder of the organization. We collaborated on the vision. They let me know what they wanted, blah, blah, blah. I then took that project or whatever it is, went to my team, which were these other people that worked for the organization, and we produced and made it happen. But I had my own way of communicating, my own camaraderie, my own rapport with these individuals. And it wasn't as well liked by the CEO founders because they felt like it was too common. They felt like we're too friendly. I didn't lead in a way that they probably would have. You get what I'm saying? Which was a little rigid, or I'm the leader, kind of nose up in the air type of disposition. I didn't lead that way. I had my own way of leading, and the people loved me. They wanted to always connect, and if they had a problem, they would come to me before they went to the CEO or the founding individuals, and rightfully so, because I was their direct leadership. I was their supervisor, and I led it that way because it was just easier for me. I didn't want to create an environment that was stifling, and people didn't want to talk to you, were afraid to come to you, and felt like if you came to them that they were in trouble. I didn't want to create that kind of environment. So I led in the way that I wanted to lead, but it wasn't the way they wanted me to lead. And ultimately I left that position for that reason and many more. But I learned a strong lesson there because I felt like If I had led the way they wanted me to lead, we probably would have seen the same success and had a good projects and things that we were producing would have came along successfully, but I would not have been fulfilled as a leader. My team would not have been as fulfilled as my team or followers or the team members that were assigned to help come alongside of me to develop or produce whatever it is we were doing. And I learned that lesson. And I said, you know what? If I ever have somebody on my team that I have to micromanage, and I have once in my journey, and guess what? I did not have them long. One, I had to micromanage because I just learned that their skill sets weren't what they proclaimed them to be in their resume. And that's a whole nother subject for people that are applying for the positions and stuff. Listen, you can lie only so long. If you don't have the skills and the bandwidth to produce, it's gonna show very quickly, but that's a whole nother situation. But I had that happen once, and I had to micromanage them because I said, well, I've already put you in this position. If I try to take this project from you and give it to someone else, it's gonna take me more time to get to the space or the place that we are already. So let me let this individual finish this project. I will hold their hand as they finish, and once they're done, I'm done. You get what I'm saying? And not done as with the individual totally, but just done with them in this space. You know what I mean? We can still be cool, we can still be friends, we can still do what we do, whatever the case. But working for me is not gonna happen anymore. But that's a whole nother subject. When you have to micromanage somebody, it means that they're not the right person for the position. Or you don't have the right disposition for leadership, one of the two. And if it's the latter, that means that you need to check yourself as a leader and get your ego, all of those things in check so that your team can feel fulfilled when they come to the boardroom, the table with whatever it is, whatever project that you're working on. Don't micromanage. Trust them to lead, manage, oversee whatever project, whatever thing that you've delegated to them the way that they deem necessary. And if it goes against the ethics, if it goes against the character or the personality of the brand, then you can call those things on the carpet and you can say, okay, this is how this should be, this is how that should be. That's a different thing. But if it's just their style of management or their style of leadership, let them be. Let them be. Be secure in who you are as the leader and let them lead how they feel most fulfilled. The next quality is deal with discrepancies, conflict, and issues as they arise. And when I say as they arise, I mean in a timely manner. You don't want to call somebody out at the company Christmas party. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to let things be and find the appropriate time to address them, but you want to do it in a timely fashion. And I say that because when you don't deal with discrepancies, conflict, issues that arise within your team in a timely manner, they only fester. They only fester and they bring discord, and ultimately they'll begin to break down the fabric, the fibers of the team that you're building. And when that breakdown starts to happen, it becomes very challenging to build it up again, particularly with that group of individuals. Why? Because they lose respect for you. They lose respect for you as a leader. And let me tell you something. The conflict, the issue that arises doesn't necessarily have to be directly connected to a specific team member. I'll just share this story. I was a part of an organization for many years, and there were different issues that arise with other individuals that were a part of the organization. The leadership chose to approach or to deal with those issues in a very passive manner. However, one day, and this went on for quite a while, one day I arrived and there was something that I felt was very minor that I had, done, and I was checked with such direct harshness that I felt like, really? You're gonna address or check me about this in front of everybody? First of all, it wasn't even nothing. If I told you what it was, you'd be like, really? But I'm not gonna even open that conversation up. But it was so minor and so minute and so immature that I was like, okay, you must be having a bad day, and I'm gonna let you have your bad day. But what I'm not gonna allow is I'm not gonna allow you to let the issues that are really destroying this organization to continue while you put the spotlight on me for something so minor. And what that happens is people will then begin to fall out of love for you as a leader. And granted, just because you're in leadership positions doesn't mean you don't have flaws. But when it comes to dealing with conflicts, you have to. And if you're not gonna deal with them directly, you better have a team of people that will. Because if you don't, it's gonna fester. And even people that are not directly involved in whatever the conflict or issue is will see how you deal with those issues. And they, in return, will either respect you more or not. This is not just about the issue that with the individual that's a part of the conflict or whatever it is. It's about all the people, all the bystanders, and all the people who are standing around watching how you're gonna handle it. And granted, you don't have to handle every issue publicly, but you better handle it. In my opinion, you cannot be a good leader if you're non-confrontational. It's very challenging. You have to be, whether it's directly with the issue or the individuals, or you have another group of people that you confer to and you talk to them and they deal with it directly. You have to be confrontational. That could be up for discussion. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see how other leaders, other people who are in leadership positions feel about that statement. But I personally feel you can't be a good leader if you're not confrontational on some level. Now, you don't have to be barking and browbeating everybody that come across your path, but you better be able to buck when they knuck. Ain't that a song? Knuck when you buck. Whatever the case may be, you understand what I mean. So if you're a hip hop head, you really understand, but you better be able to step to the plate to handle that issue, to handle that conflict in a timely manner. That's important. Not after it's days later, months later, timely. And how you handle it is going to be conditioned upon the individuals involved, upon the situation itself, whether it's a simple email, whether it's a meeting, whether you're bringing the entire team together, or whether it's you speaking to the person directly, which I don't advise. One of my coaches, I love him to death, and he advised us on this years ago. When you're handling conflict, you always want to have someone in the room that can hear and be a part of the conversation. Now, they may not necessarily have something to say, but they're there as a voice of confirmation so that someone else knows what happened in that meeting. They can record the notes and what went down and how the issue was resolved. So you always want to have somebody in the room if it's an issue where you're handling something with one-on-one. You know what I mean? It's not something that you want to handle publicly, but you have a one-on-one something that you have to do with an individual or maybe a couple or whatever the case may be. You have them in the room. You handle the conversation directly, and then you have someone else in the room. Maybe it's another officer. Typically, it should be another officer. So whether it's your vice president, somebody that is another official within the organization, your board of directors, somebody else should be in the room at the time of that meeting. They typically will just be in the room so that nothing can be said that was not said, or nothing can be said that wasn't said. You follow? So he said this and you making it up, but nobody else was in the room to know whether it's the truth or not. So it's his word against her word. No, not the case, because I have so-and-so who recorded the entire, or so-and-so who was a part of that discussion. So that's just a little tidbit on how to handle conflict or issues that arise in your organization, but you want to handle them, the point is, in a timely manner. The next one, and this is, I think, the final one, is you want to, and this is, again, I'm talking about people who are in business, particularly, whether it be for-profit or non-for-profit, but you want to think collaboration, not corporation. When you think corporate, you're thinking about the legal, professional hierarchy of an organization. While when you're thinking collaboration, it has to do with a mutual respect for the gifts, skills, and value that one brings to the table. When you think corporation, you think hierarchy. You think, oh, I'm in charge. I'm the leader. I'm the head honcho. I'm the HNIC. Y'all remember that, right? When you think collaboration, though, you think this person has value to bring. I want to invite them to the table. That person has value to bring. I want to invite them to their table. And you respect them on a different level. You don't treat them, you don't look at them as just a peasant, somebody who's just running to do your busy work. You look at them as somebody who brings value to what it is that you're building, someone that brings value to the vision at hand. And when you think collaboration, not only are you creating an environment where those individuals can now feel accepted, but you're creating an environment where they feel willing and open to share, to give. You know what I mean? When you create this kind of environment, your team will give you anything. They will go look for the resources to bring to the table to help fuel the vision that you have at hand. I know from experience. As I told you, I'm a partner with a global media and advertising agency, but I'm also run my own personal brand. And the people that work with me for my personal brand are absolutely amazing. They are the cream of the crop when it comes to a team that can follow and pursue the vision effectively. And I say that not because they're necessarily the most skilled or the most talented, but they are skilled and they are talented at what they do, but because they understand building. They understand getting the vision and finding their space in it and making it happen. I bring my team together on a weekly basis and I open the floor. I open the floor for the conversation. I want to hear from them. I want them to feel okay with opening up and sharing their thoughts on a matter. Why? Because they're part of this. It's not my vision, it's our vision. And guess what? They step in that and they walk in that fully to the fullest extent. If they have something to share, they share. If they feel a little, maybe, well, I don't think that's a good idea, maybe we should consider that. And there are things that I've put on the table and I'm like, well, what y'all think about this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, guess what? When they say it, I take it into consideration and I say, you know what, you're right. Okay, let's not do that. Let's move this way. Let's go that way. That's what you do as a good leader. You have a mutual respect for the skill sets, the giftings, and the talent that your team brings to the table. And guess what? Having that mentality when you approach the situation as a leader gives you much more cooperation out of your team. They'll be willing to cooperate with whatever it is that you do. And guess what? It builds a community, a family, and not just this entity where I got to just punch a clock or let me go in and do what Mr. told me to do. No, it creates an environment where people want to work. They're willing to work. They'll put in the time to get it done. And that's what you want. You want that spirit of let's go get it. That spirit of, I may not be fully aware of how to do it, but I'm gonna find out. Because I believe not only in you as a leader, but I believe in the vision that we're building together. And guess what? I value that. I value that. And I think as a leader, that's one of the most precious qualities that you can have because you're building people now. When you look at people and you highlight their value, you're building character. My team, the people that work with me, and this is something that they don't even know, well, they may know now, but I want them to be the best at whatever it is that they want. And I believe that my assignment in their life, beyond the projects, beyond the things that we work on, my assignment in their life is to push them into their greatness. And I do that by creating an environment where they can effectively not only use their skill sets and giftings, but they can be challenged to grow them and expand and broaden, widen, deepen. You understand what I'm saying? And that alone, whether they stay with me 6 months, a year, 10 years, 20 years, that alone will build a certain quality and character in your team members that when they go to the next environment, to the next organization, to the next corporation, or build something on their own, whatever it may be, they're gonna be even more suited for the job, for the task at hand. And that's what you want. You want within, as a leader, you want at the end of the day to build people, not a business. So, 5 qualities of a good leader. This is stuff that I've learned, some of it easy and other not so much. These are things that I've learned that I believe will make you a better leader, not only for your business, your organization, but for your community, for your family. These are things that you can use at home, in whatever place, space that you use them. Walk in it and walk in it fully. You may not be fully equipped to move in all of these qualities, and we're going to go through them shortly. But wherever you are, wherever you feel like, oh, I can get my footings in this, I can move in this, I got this quality. Work that one, and then build the next one, and then build the next one from there. And before you know it, you will be a better leader, and your team will be more effective and productive. And guess what? They will be better individuals and leaders for the people that they are assigned to. Here are the 5 qualities of a good leader. Have a clear vision. Know what you want. Be open to the thoughts and criticisms of others. Delegate and trust those you've put in place to manage and oversee whatever it is that they're doing for you. Don't micromanage. That's essentially what that means. Don't micromanage. Deal with discrepancies, conflict, and issues in a timely manner. Think collaboration, not corporation. Corporate has to do with the legal or professional hierarchy of an organization, while collaboration has to do with a mutual respect for the gifts, skills, and value that one brings to the table. Be the best leader you can be. Listen, this is Cornell Jermaine. I thank you for your time. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel. And if you like this kind of content, you want more videos on leadership and how to become a better leader, a business owner, etc., let me know in the comments, and I will definitely, my team and I will produce more things like this for you. But like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.